Good evening, dear viewers. Hello and welcome to a new edition of the Daily Debate. I'm your host for tonight, Mohamed. And on Thursday, Egyptians cast their ballots on the second and final day of the runoff vote of the first phase of the House of Representatives elections. The number of sub-polling stations in this round was 1,775, distributed across 20 constituencies in 7 governorates. That was the voting here at home on Wednesday and Thursday. The expat vote in the same round was on Monday and Tuesday. So Egypt opened the polls for the voting in the 19 constituencies where the results from the first round of the elections were annulled over irregularities, and voting also took place in the runoff round. Of course, the National Election Authority had nullified the results of individual elections in 19 constituencies on the 18th of November based on violations it documented, and the cancellations followed the directives by His Excellency the President that the authority thoroughly review irregularities that occurred in some constituencies where individual candidates competed and the appeals submitted regarding them. That will be the main topic here for tonight, and with us is political analyst Mr. Mohamed Salah. Mr. Salah, always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for your hosting. I'm very happy to be with you and with all of your generous viewers this day, hoping all of us fruitful discussions regarding this topic.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salah. Allow us, please, and allow us, dear viewers, first to read to you our top story of the day as the Egypt Defense Expo, EDEX, wrapped up its activities on Thursday, as it has provided an opportunity to exchange expertise and showcase the latest developments in military technology and advanced techniques. Earlier, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli reiterated that the Egypt Defense Expo EDEX had gained a global recognition in the field of military and security industries. The exhibition extracted a wide participation of major international companies and fostered interaction among senior military officials, government decision makers and companies producing weaponry systems and defense technologies from around the world. This year's exhibition reflected the rapid advancements in modern defense systems and Cairo's growing role as a regional hub for showcasing the latest innovations in weaponry, drones and military artificial intelligence. So that was top story here for the day, but of course the main topic tonight is the elections, the House of Representatives elections, and the voting in the runoff round, and also in the constituencies that saw an annulment of the results due to the irregularities that were documented by the National Election Authority. And just a few minutes ago we saw a press conference by the NEA, the National Election Authority's Executive Director, Councillor Benderi, who talked to us about how voting went on the second and final day of this round here at home. Smoothly in many areas, but also there were complaints. He detailed the complaints, some of the breaches and violations, and he also talked about how they will be dealt with, these complaints. Again, we welcome you, Mr. Mohamed Salah, our dear guest with us here in the studio, the political analyst. So, Mr. Salah, how did you see voting here at home in the runoff round and in the constituencies that saw an annulment of the vote due to irregularities on Wednesday and Thursday, and earlier, of course, also the expat vote on Monday and Tuesday in the same round?
What I would like to say is that we have to know well that we are dealing with a very important and sensitive event that's going about the legitimacy of the Egyptian system in general. And we have to also that we have a strong demand on this parliament elections because of the importance of having what's called a constitutional performance or right constitutional performance for all the institutions here in Egypt. And it's very important for us to know well that all the political system components is doing or is depending on main components on all of these systems. One of these main components is the parliament, where you are going, or when you are expected to do, is to produce legal and rules and
legislation, yes,
legislation and producing laws that will enhance our standard of life here in Egypt. And the second is how to monitor the performance of the government itself, how to find the solutions for all the problems that you are facing in our daily life. All of these important parts, or all of these important goals, should be targeted or should be known well by our people in order to take part in this important event. What makes this difference this time is that we are talking about a real and a good competition between all the candidates here in this parliament elections. Because of this competition, we have some violations that have been attached or have been noticed by both sides, by the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi himself, and he urged the National Authority for Elections to take the necessary actions, and also from the Supreme Court of the Administration Affairs here in Egypt also have caused or have produced a final decision regarding these ideas that about taking part again or re-electing in many ideas. So we have to know well that the legitimacy or about the right competition between all sides or between all.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Salah. Sorry to interrupt you, but because we have with us Nile TV International's correspondent live from the headquarters of the National Election Authority, the NEA, in downtown Cairo, Lubna Yahya. Lubna, good evening.
Good evening to you, Mohamed, and good evening.
Yes, Lubna, we just heard the NEA's Executive Director, Councillor Binderi, holding a press conference a few minutes ago. Please update us on the most important notes that he mentioned, the highlights of that press conference, Lubna.
Yes, Mohamed, the National Election Authority, and we just attended the conference that the Executive Chief, Ahmed Binderi, had conducted just recently. And the most important notes is that the counting of votes had begun in all the governorates. As you know, this is the rerun of several constituencies, 19 constituencies in different 7 governorates. And now the counting of the votes had begun as the election process ends at 9 p.m. It starts off at 9 a.m. and ends at 9 p.m. and now we are past 9. And so the counting had begun.
Yes.
The councillor had spoken with different councillors from the 7 governorates, and they reported all the complaints that they received had been taken care of as required, with the cooperation with the Ministry of Interior and the National Election Authority. Of course, it had been closely watching the scene of the election process and how it has been going smoothly. And so far, everything has been taken care of, and it has been going as smoothly as required.
Yes, Lubna. Also, Councillor Binderi, as you mentioned, talked about not only the complaints, but the way they are being dealt with, and that some of these complaints have been referred to the public prosecution, for instance, like the case in Sohag. He mentioned that there were 14 complaints in Sohag. And also there were breaches and violations reported by the councillors overseeing the main polling stations in several other governorates that saw voting today. So Councillor Binderi not only updated us on the complaints, but he also talked about how these violations and breaches are being dealt with.
Yes, correct, Mohamed. Councillor Binderi has spoken about the complaints that had been received. There are 47 complaints so far, or like collectively.
Yeah.
And all 47 complaints had been investigated, and they had made sure of their correctness. They had been sorted into different categories, sorted even into the ages, the type of complaint, and also gender, they were sorted in that way. So all the complaints, all 47 of them, had been investigated thoroughly. The correctness of them, just in case they may be fake complaints, however, all the complaints had been investigated and had been properly dealt with. And the complaints that needed to be turned to prosecution had been turned to it, and the Ministry of Interior also had cooperated with the National Election Authority in this regard.
Indeed, and Councillor Binderi also talked about that. He thanked the Ministry of Interior and the media, and we thank you, part of the media. Lubna Yahya, Nile TV International's correspondent, talking to us from Al-Qasr Al-Aini, the main headquarters of the NEA. Thank you very much, Lubna. Thank you. And back here in the studio with our dear guest, Mr. Mohamed Salah. Mr. Salah, there seems to be more transparency in this round, in the second phase. All of the complaints are being checked, the authenticity of the complaints, first of all, and then they are being dealt with. Many things are being uncovered. We've heard the chief executive director of the NEA saying that there were bribery cases in some areas, there were overcrowding in other areas. Police were able to detain some of those who breached the law. So how do you see this second phase, and how is it different from the first phase? Of course, this second phase has 13 governorates, and the first phase had 14.
14, yes.
Yeah, and the irregularities in the first phase are seeing a rerun, have seen a rerun.
It's a natural result for what is going by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, or about what President Sisi urged about keeping transparency on this action, or on this level of elections, in order to have the right sound of the Egyptian people in general. We are not looking for a certain party or a certain candidates to present or to represent the Egyptian people in the parliament. No, our aim now, or the main aim of the Egyptian president, is to know well the voice or the choice, the real choice of the Egyptian people at the same time.
Yes.
So we have a high level of transparency. We have a lot of interference from the Ministry of Interior Affairs, police. All of these actions are taking a route outside the committees, or the electoral committees. We have also a lot of dealing with a lot of actions and regarding the complaints that are taken by all of the candidates, and by also for the electors themselves. Have a lot of actions regarding this level of transparency in order to keep the voice of
Speaking of transparency, Mr. Salah, we are seeing now pictures of vote counting from Suhaig Governorate.
Okay, let's see.
So this is what you're seeing now on your Nile TV International screen. The actual vote counting process from Suhaig Governorate. Now, Suhaig, there's something very special about it. We heard Councillor Binderi yesterday, in the first day of the two-day vote here at home, in this round, saying that Suhaig was one of the governorates that saw a very high turnout. Sure. Today, we heard complaints, a lot of complaints came from Suhaig. So obviously, this is a key governorate,
and it's also natural in rural countrysides that we have a lot of competition, a high level of competition between the candidates there. If you are talking about Suhaig or any other rural countrysides, they will have the same level of competence between all of them, because it have a lot of ideas, a lot of relations with the history, about the relations of the power of each family in this place. We have a lot of competition in rural countries, especially in Upper Egypt in general. And if you have a further look about what we are re-electing now, we are electing most governorates of the Upper Egypt in general, because of these ideas.
Yes. And of course, the first phase had seen Upper Egypt, mostly Upper Egypt governorates, yes, in the first phase, and this is why we're seeing a rerun here. Now, how did you see the turnouts in the past 2 days here at home compared to the first phase? I mean, this is a rerun of the first phase?
Sure, it's rerun or re-electing, but I think that we have a lot of negative media that are talking about the election in general. And all of the Egyptians have to refuse this kind of media in order to share their or to done their national duty.
There are rumors. There are rumors.
We have a lot of problems, and we have a lot of those who are taking or talking in a bad way about the transparency. Whether we have, but at the same time we have re-elected. We are now re-electing. We have re-electing in many governors, not only in one or two. We have seven general governors will totally re-elected because of violations that were detected by the NEA or by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. So we have to understand well, or to encourage the people to take part in this important event, because of they have a lot of ideas regarding putting or pushing Egypt here into chaos. We have to know well that we are targeted in this very important part of time. And we have to look about what's going around us in the region. We have to know well that all the struggles that are taking part in the region are counting or are a result for this constitutional vacuum in these countries. So we have to save our country from being a part of this chaos in the Middle East. We have to take part in this electoral process. You have to say your opinion. You have to share with your choice about your candidates who will represent you on this parliament. If you do your duty, if you go and choose your candidate, there will no any violation will happen in any government in Egypt.
Okay, Mr. Salah, what about the composition of the voters themselves from your observation? I mean, are we seeing more youth? Are we seeing more women? Are we seeing more of elderly voters? I mean, what did you see?
I would like to say that the major electors were from youth. I think because youth are the main target of Egypt. If you have a further look to Egypt 2030 strategy, you will are targeting youth in Egypt here now. And I would like to say that we have a high level of consciousness here in Egypt about youth. They know well what's happening or what's going on throughout using social media platforms, throughout using or following news agencies, TV channels. They are knowing well, or they know well what's going on in the world. They know well the importance of taking part in this very constitutional event. They know well that they are choosing how their future will be by sharing or taking part in this important action. So I think youth here in Egypt is the major power here in Egypt. We have 60% of the Egyptian people are youth. We are talking about a youth nation.
This is a youthful country,
youthful country, I think. So I know, as I see in all the constituencies, I see the major power or the major part of the electors were from youth.
All right. I wanted to ask you something about the expat vote, because while we were talking here on Nile TV with many Egyptians living abroad who participated in the expat vote, whether in New Zealand, Australia, Britain, France, the US, I mean, we've heard from them something of like, we want more facilitations to be able to vote, to practice our constitutional right.
Sure, I know well.
In the UK, for instance, all of those who live in England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland can only go to London, and only London. So they were saying, like, if we had something in Belfast or in Glasgow or in the Welsh capital, or in more cities in the UK, in England, like Birmingham or Manchester, where many Egyptians live, that would be nice for them. And they also asked for if they can vote by mail, if they can vote...
technological solution.
Yeah, a
yes,
technological solution. What do you think about both of these demands? The demand of having more consulates or more polling stations, and the second demand of having a technological solution, especially regarding the expat vote. And of course, Egypt's expats are the heart of the soft power of Egypt.
Sure, I'm sure, and I've talked a lot about the importance of the share of taking part of the Egyptians outside in these elections or any other elections in general. I've talked about the importance of them in many episodes before with you and with others. So, but about the two demands that you have mentioned, I would like to say that we have a lot of problems regarding them. The first is that I'm talking, or I'm working about the number of embassies I have in every country. And this is the main problem. How could I share this electoral committees outside the
embassies and consulates? Yeah,
and this is the main problem, because I can't do this. A very important constitutional.
Without the supervision of the embassy or the consulate.
So because of this, I think we have a lot of problems, not only in UK but in US, United States in general. In the
although we have 4 main polling stations in the U.S.
Sure,
in Washington, D.C., New York, 5, Chicago,
when you are talking about
Houston, and Los Angeles. Yeah, of course.
A huge
continent.
A continent, yes, a huge number of cities, a huge number of governorates, a huge number of states, and I think we couldn't take part in all of these states.
Yeah.
So I'd like to say that this is the problem of the first demand.
Okay, what about the technological solution?
About the technological solutions, we are talking about a very sensitive solution like this. First of all, I would like to have a secured connection with the electors. I'd like to say that they have to be defined for me. I have to make sure that you are talking, or you are talking your right, or you are taking your right, or you are performing your electoral process as you know, as apart from this. So the first important, or the first problem about the technological solution is how to define the person who is talking or who is voting.
Mr. Salah, this is intriguing. I know you're not a technology expert, I know that, but neither am I, of course. But this is intriguing. If technology is so advanced that any one of us can have, you know, like money in this card, and you know, with any numbers you withdraw any money and send any money to any part of the world and retract it. So how can't you, I mean, do the same for...
This is the difference between, a big difference.
For a voting process.
Between a political system and a financial system. About the financial systems, you have a lot of ideas to be defined for your bank, you defined on your financial authorities in your country or in the place you are living in. But for the political system, you do not have the ability to be defined by...
Again, I'm not a technology expert, but maybe via these financial tools, or financial identity, if I can say so, we can find something.
We have one of the most important violations that happened in the United States of America.
The email vote?
Email votes, which was in the last presidential elections between Trump and Biden. And you have seen.
We saw January 6th.
You have witnessed what happened in this problem and how they manipulate with the votes of those who have voted regarding post by emails or by posting. So we have to know well how to deal with this problem, how to deal with the demand, or how to fulfill this demand. And because for myself, I'm totally convinced with the importance of having such solutions, but how to implement, how to
I
keep
want to
the
link
same.
it to the financial identity, because if I can say so, entre parenthèses, financial identity.
But at the same time, you have to know that the personal data in all banks around the world are
It's
secret.
a top secret, of course.
Top secret, of course. I cannot have an access on this. On
Yeah,
these
you're right,
items.
you're right.
So I have to know, well, by preparing our database, by preparing ways or mean of how to make sure that this citizen who has this national ID, who will take or who will vote, this will not be any problems. Also, I'd like to say about
So you're telling us that voting will continue to be in person throughout the world, even with this great technological advancement we are witnessing?
I have another threat regarding this kind of voting process, which is hacking. What if this about this process have been hacked by others, or have been we have now a kind of war, a different kind of war, which is about the war of the internet, about the war of
space.
So we have to know well that we have a lot of problems, or have a lot of threats about the legitimacy and about the transparency of the electoral process, whether it's done about using the technological system. I have to amend this system first. I have to make sure that this process will be safely demonstrated or safely monitored. And finally, I could do this easily in general.
Right. Mr. Salah, what is... Of course, we still have at least one more month in this process. I mean, we're going to see a rerun when there is a tie in a certain constituency.
I'm happy to have this. I'm happy to have all of this time.
Yes.
Because
or when a violation is accepted by the NEA and a rerun is ordered.
Yes.
So we're into this process for at least one more month. So during that time span, what is happening? I mean, the old parliament is now in place, or what? I mean, the outgoing parliament is
the past parliament is taking part now till
until the swearing in of the new parliament.
The end of this, yes, the end of these elections. I'd like to say we have a timeline now. We have a month to do these elections, and by the end of this month, we'll have a new parliament will take part in.
Would a new parliament necessarily mean a new cabinet? I mean, traditionally, when there is a new parliament, we see...
It is expected to have a new government by having a new parliament, as usual, as expected in general.
Yeah, that has
but
been...
at the same time, I'd like to say that the change process itself is related to many actions or many circumstances around us. Whether the international process or the international affairs now are having the same way or having a suitable way to do change process or not, about the regional circumstances. And we have witnessed yesterday what happened from Netanyahu when he had ordered the Israeli armies in order to open Rafah to move the Palestinians.
One way, he wanted it one way.
One way. So I'd like to say that the change process is not easy as we think. It's tied to many circumstances around us, related to, especially we have a lot of chaos here in the Middle East. We have a chaos in Gaza. We have a chaos in Sudan. We have chaos in Syria,
Libya,
and in Libya also.
Yeah, I'm speaking about Egypt's borders.
So West, we have to know well that change process is not the aim is to change minister with others, but how to do this with a different rule, with the different circumstances, and how they will be able to produce a different
we know that
outputs from the current
you're
government.
You're right, Mr. Salah. I mean, there are a lot of challenges. I mean, regionally, globally, and also at home, and specifically economic challenges. So what should we expect from the parliamentarians in the lower house, the House of Representatives, when it comes to economic policies, the economic dimension of it?
What I would like to say from, or what we are expecting from Parliament.
Social justice
Not only
proposals.
social
I mean,
justice.
what should we expect?
In the capital, or in democratic system, you are talking about all of actions should be concerned with markets. You have to control markets well. You have to drive the markets and know well about the prices, how to control the prices of every good, of every service or goods that are
consumer protection.
Consumer protection. This will be the main target by the coming parliaments. They have a lot of ideas about producing working vacancies for the Egyptians, for the Egyptian youth. I would like also they have to be control more about the prices in the what are calling it units about homes and how to Egyptians to have suitable homes to live in. This is a very an important problem that we have to work with the next parliament. In general, I'd like to say that the coming parliament is expected to work in the economic field in general, especially about the markets of all the goods and services here in Egypt.
Finally, and very briefly, Mr. Salah, unfortunately we're out of time. Again, what do you want from this upcoming parliament as an Egyptian citizen? I mean, your needs.
About my needs, I would like to say that they have to do their constitutional rules. You have to do well that to produce a suitable laws that will help us to solve our daily problems, to enhance our economic systems, to give more about the social equity for all the Egyptians. And the second target, or the second needs I would like to say, I would like to get from this parliament is to monitor the governmental performance with a wide range of tools, not only depending on one tool. You have to keep your tools in the street, through the internet, through the social media. They have to interact with the Egyptian people. They have to find out a very fast and a very effective solutions. All of these actions, I'd like to say that I'm waiting for this in the coming or in the new parliament in general.
All right, thank you very much as always, our dear distinguished guest, Mr. Mohamed Salah, the political analyst. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
And thank you, dear viewers, for watching tonight's edition of the Daily Debate. In about 10 minutes' time, our top stories of the hour will come your way. I'm Mohamed and I thank you for watching. Please stay with Nile TV.